It's Your Business, a program designed to highlight our local small businesses who participate in procurement and contracting opportunities at Houston Community College. I'm your host, Veronica Douglas. On today's show, we will speak with PermitUsNow, an industry-recognized building permit expediting firm that helps busy architects, contractors, and project owners save time, money, and energy in pulling building permits so construction can be started in a timely manner. PermitUsNow is transferring the state of permitting in Houston with a multidisciplined staff that reviews plans, consults with design teams and contractors on building, and provides comprehensive permitting services for programming to project closeout. PermitUsNow covers Houston and the surrounding areas, pulling building permits for educational, healthcare, aviation, transportation, commercial, and other projects. PermitUsNow permits new ground-ups, renovations, remodels, expansions, additions, reg tag, flags, violations, and more. They are headquartered in downtown Houston and can be reached at PermitUsNow.com. Joining us today is Helen Callier, founder and president of PermitUsNow, an SBA award-winning small business owner recognized by the Texas Regional Hispanic Contractors Association with the prestigious Luna Award for Architectural Engineering and Construction Firm of the Year. She is also an award recipient of Houston Business Journal's Women Who Mean Business and a former State of Texas Commissioner of the State of Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation. Helen is on a mission to help busy architects, contractors, and project owners do what they love to do best, build their customers' dreams. Helen is a blogger on PermitUsNow.com and writes a monthly column in the construction area of Subcontractors USA. Helen has been featured in H-E-B Grocery on a video for her excellent permitting services, highlighted in the NFL Super Bowl 51 official commemorative magazine, and interviewed on CNBC. She is also an author with her latest book titled The Real Secret to Permitting Your Construction Projects. It's being published this month. You can reach Helen on LinkedIn or PermitUsNow.com. Helen, welcome back. It is a pleasure having you here. You are one of our absolute first guests and one of my absolute favorites. So thank you for joining us back.
Hi, Veronica. I appreciate it. It's truly an honor. Always an honor.
Well, what an introduction about you and your team. How many years now have you actually been in business?
In business now for almost 21 years. With PermitUsNow, we were established in 2016, so which is a subsidiary of my parent company, Bradley LLC. So we're 21. We're almost 21. So I'm excited about that, I got to tell you.
And that is such an accomplishment, for a women-owned business. I mean, you have really excelled and you are everywhere. So I have to commend you on all the great work that you do.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. It's an exciting time to be in business and so grateful to be in Houston and in Texas for sure with the opportunities that are going on.
And so I mentioned that you currently operate in Houston. What other cities are you operating in?
Yeah, so we definitely cover Houston and the surrounding areas, working for busy architects, contractors, and project owners, right? Helping them to pull those permits in a timely manner and to remove the headaches that they have. And so, that takes us from Katy to Pearland to Sugarland, Clear Lake, all the way down to the Beaumont Triangle and as far as Bryan College Station. But with clients of ours such as H-E-B, we also do work on other similar organizations and entities that takes us through the state of Texas, pretty much across the state of Texas. So our goal in the Houston area is to make sure that we're the ideal, permitting service for our clients, so we can help them to become profitable sooner, and for them to realize their dreams sooner for their customers. And so we're truly excited about that. So we play in the paint, if you will, allowing you in a basketball term, covering the Houston and surrounding areas for sure, and in other parts of Texas.
And I know last time we talked, that was around 300 jurisdictions.
Oh, it's many more than that. Yeah, it's many more than that. Yeah, we're talking about almost 700 jurisdictions that we touch in the state of Texas, which is significant. We're very grateful for those established relationships. Not only with the reviewers, but with the inspectors, the building officials, in order to make it happen for our clients. Because you can have all the pretty plans that you want to, but if you don't have a building permit, you're legally not able to get started. Building your project. There are some exceptions, and I've mentioned this before on prior interviews. If you're out in the boondocks somewhere, we ask for you to be safe, but typically the building requirements and the codes and the permittings are a little lenient. In fact, you don't need a permit in some particular areas. Just be cognizant, though. Be cognizant.
And let our viewers know again what industries you serve.
Yeah. So the industries that we serve, we're very excited to be serving on the educational side. That's K through 12, and also includes the community colleges such as Houston Community College. And so excited to have handled quite a few permits tied with the bond program for HCC, throughout the system. And so in addition to educational, playing a significant role in the healthcare space, commercial, meaning restaurants, and I just mentioned, of course, HEB. And then we also do a lot with mixed use complexes, along the lines, as we are one of the go-to permit expediting firms for United Airlines, and clearly for the airport concessions at Bush Intercontinental. And we do a significant amount of work at the airports as a whole, at all three airports. Maybe forgetting, of course, transit and the things that we do for Houston Metro and some of the other transit authorities. And so very grateful for the areas that we're in. And of course, we have a lot of private developers as well that we support.
So when is a permit typically not required to be pulled?
Yeah, so if you're doing a refresh, and a refresh for a facility could be a commercial, could be residential, which we do a lot on the residential side. It says if you're just coming in to paint, maybe change some sheetrock here and there. If you're just doing minor work, maybe carpets and floors, and then maybe some minor electrical work and plumbing work, then you typically do not require to have a permit. It's called refresh. But the moment that you start moving around, or the contractor or the project owner starts moving around structural elements like a wall, right, or major framing, and or either doing additions and things of that nature, then you're gonna need a permit, right? You're gonna require a permit, definitely within the city of Houston and other jurisdictions that are surrounding the area, including Harris County.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we return, I want you to get in depth and tell us about this permitting process at the city of Houston and how you're helping your clients navigate through it.
When the last bell rings, don't stress about what comes next. At Houston Community College, we make your lessons matter. From healthcare to tech, or business to the arts. Open the door to HCC Real World Education, where passions become careers. Find more at hccs.edu and let your success take flight.
Welcome back. We were continuing our conversation with Helen from PermitUsNow. And Helen, you were going to help us navigate through and understand the permitting process at the city of Houston. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so permitting through the city of Houston is exciting, right? And it's definitely thrilling for many who have to get a building permit. We thrive, right? We love the environment. It's an exciting game for us. And so what we stress to be, if it's contractors, architects, engineers, and the project owners that may be pulling their own building permits, is that they do their due diligence first. right? And what that says is that you're checking the website to see if there's any changes in the ordinances, in the building codes, based on the type of project that they are building, right? Because you want to make sure that you can minimize any delays, right? And any rejection comments. And so if you then submit to the city, assuming, which is a very dangerous word, then you can get caught up in your shoestrings because there's been a change that would have only taken you maybe 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes in order to see what changes that might have occurred at the city of Houston. So we know that the city of Houston has the online portal, be it if it's for the one stop, which are, smaller projects, typically less than 5,000 square feet, much smaller projects. And depending on what's going on as well in that particular scope, in addition to the permitting that's going to go through multiple departments to review. And so being cognizant that it's very important that you package your permit set, your plans, be it if you're going to need a survey, if you're going to need an elevation certificate, if you're going to need an asbestos survey, or specs attached to maybe something that you're installing, making sure that everything is properly packaged, get it submitted to the city of Houston, making sure everything goes in its proper folders, right? Because if you put a certain plan set, architectural set, civil set, that goes in the wrong folder, then you're going to see a lot of rejection comments, right? We do caution for those individuals who may not be as familiar with the city of Houston permitting, that they look to do what we call a pre-development meeting. Right. And that's calling up, the plan reviewers, scheduling an appointment. You can do it online as well to say, I have XYZ scope of a project, and I'd like to be able to have a meeting before it's submitted. And that step right there can save a tremendous amount of time and headaches. That step right there. And what it'll clearly do, it'll also let that individual know that if they're over their head, and that they need to engage a third party, such as PermitUsNow, in order to handle the particular permit. But if they are cognizant, they understand the building codes, they understand the plans that they have in place, and then how to properly submit, by all means, go ahead and do that. But if you feel like you're over your head, you're starting to sweat on your forehead and so forth, and not sure, call us. Call us. So always be respectful to the plan reviewers. Always respond to requests for information. Respond fully to any rejection comments that come through is critical as well. And one of the things that we see often is that the plans might be submitted to say not for construction. Right. And so if they're stamped on there to say not for construction, then the plan reviewer is going to give you a slew of comments, because they're going to say, I'm reviewing plans that are not even ready for construction. And so it's a simple mistake, but it's often made. And so, just be cognizant of that. So always get started early. Take a look at the website, schedule a pre-development meeting, QA/QC your plans and everything before going in, as well as for the application. Because if the application has a disconnect with what's reflective on the plans, then that's going to be a rejection comments, right? That's rejection comments there. So QA/QC your package, get it submitted in the proper order, and then make sure that you follow up, and stay on top, right? And be kind to the plan reviewers when you're interacting with them. Fully respond to those comments, and then when it's time to buy that building permit, then make sure that you're buying that in a timely manner.
So if someone chooses to utilize your service and they're totally out of it, they can rely on you to go to these meetings, fight those little battles with them.
Yeah.
You're the expert in this area, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, it's what we do day in and day out. We've had contractors, even developers to come to us. There's one of recent that says, "Hey, they've been attempting to get approval for the last 6, almost 8 months. They're not sure what the hangup is. They're quite confused, and they got a lot of comments all over. I mean, they've gone through several rounds of reviews, and so it makes it a challenge, just trying to decipher as to what actually is going on. And so those type of scenarios, we will take a look at all of the city comments. We'll review the plans. We'll review the application, everything that's been submitted to be able to identify, here's what the plan reviewer is asking for. Here's what the comments are saying. Here's what's missing. And then to devise and establish a game plan to then submit back to the city, right? How to properly address the comments and then get submitted back into the city. 9 out of 10 times in that scenario, we're also going to have those pre-development meetings before we submit back in, because there's been a lot of history with that, and it's always good to let the reviewers know that, okay, we're involved. PermitUsNow is on, is on the team, and here's what our approach is going to be based on the comments that we're seeing. Can they walk us through, and is this going to meet their needs? And so always excited about that. We're here for those in the industry that are having challenges. Again, it's what we do, and we know that busy contractors and architects and project owners, they want to do what they do best. They either want to design or build, design it or build it, and so we recognize that, and it meets a need in the marketplace.
So what happens to the project manager or the owner that does not pull a permit?
Yeah. There's a term it's called red flags, right? Or red tag, if you will, TAG, a red tag, which the code enforcement officer come by and will do inspections of projects. They do that all throughout the city, be it if it's Harris County, City of Houston, and other jurisdictions, they do that. And they're taking a look to say, do you have the proper permits pulled? And so if you do not have the proper permits that are pulled nor posted, then you will get a red tag, and until you get a permit. Because that permit's already been under construction, then you're going to have to satisfy, that requirement before you get started. And so it's important that you get a permit, because in that situation, you can get a fine, go to court, get a fine, right? And then you still are having to get the review done, completed, and get a building permit. And so the number one issue is that for someone who doesn't pull a building permit, you're number one, you're impacting and you're foregoing the safety for your customer, just automatically. You're putting them in an unsafe scenario, right? And so the faster that you can then close that gap, it assures your customer, their customer, that you've built a safe structure based on the ordinances, building codes, and so forth. So not getting a permit does give you a red tag, and we see that not only with small contractors, but as well as some very large organizations as well. So it's not just you're thinking the small contractor or the small architect. It happens. We get it. We're here for them to be able to assist.
On a residential project, who actually pulls the permit? Is it the homeowner or the contractor?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends. In some situations, the homeowners may pull that permit, and they can rightfully do so. But typically, the contractor is expected to pull that permit. Why? Because they have the expertise in the construction, and so they're going to be the ones held liable to that. Their information is going to be tied to that permit. If there's any trades, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, they will be pulling their permits against that particular trade, that main building permit, and everything's posted accordingly. So the ideal way is for that contractor to be pulling and paying for that building permit, and to take that stress off of the homeowner in that case.
I know that you are actively involved in the LBJ hospital expansion project. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, that is that's a huge project, very important project to the Houston and surrounding areas, and those visitors who are coming in who may need a hospital as well. That hospital serves and provides it will provide ideal healthcare in a healthcare desert, as I've heard it, if you will. We know that the bond program was passed for the LBJ in 2023, November 2023, $2.5 billion. Hospital itself is maybe 1.6 something billion, and then, which not only includes the hospital, new parking garage, new central utility plant, and then other aspects to go along with that, including the new food, food pharmacy, because they have the outdoor garden, which is significant in its own right. So working on the project with the architect of record, the contractors, the construction manager at risk, all three of them as well. And so very grateful that for the hospital itself, we see the cranes that are in the sky that are working, right? Big, huge cranes. And we were instrumental in getting those permits in a timely manner, which is huge for that project, for you to even see the cranes, right? For you to see the cranes. We played a significant role with that for that first package coming out to get for it to go through what I call 2.5 rounds of review is it's just phenomenal for that size project, just phenomenal. But you have to be all over it, right? Communication with the plan reviewers, with the plan staff analysts, the leaders, and so forth, saying this is a very important project coming into the city. We would like and we need to have the same plan reviewer because they're educated, they know what's going on. There's a lot of moving pieces. To bring in someone new jeopardizes the project and you're starting over. So that's been very helpful and very grateful for the city, allowing us to have the one plan reviewer. And as we continue working on this project, we're continue to make sure that we're nurturing those relationships. But it was, I can tell you, it's very touching for having the approval for that first superstructure for the hospital to be approved and get started on time. And that permit was delivered at the end of August, so they can get started the first week in September.
Excellent
Right?
work, Helen.
And so very, very exciting. And one of the things for us, as folks talk to us, is that we know that a permit is a critical milestone, right? You have to have you need a permit in order to get started. We stay focused on that end result, which means that hospital has a CO, certificate of occupancy, and we see people going in and out. So we stay focused on that. And so as we're having conversations with the city of Houston, it is about the impact that it's making to the public. Right?
Well,
The impact.
let's take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue our conversation with the hospital, but also, I want to talk to you about the work that you're doing to help the Houstonians with obtaining permits after these recent hurricanes.
My daughter started making necklaces. She makes what we call affirmation fashion. I tell her every day that your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. Your black is beautiful. And if there's anything better than being beautiful, it's being smart. And if there's anything better than being smart, it's being kind. And reaffirming that every day is our method of making sure her chin never drops.
Welcome back. We're continuing our conversation with Helen. And Helen, we left off talking about the hospital, but I want to shift gears a little bit because I know that we're along the Texas Gulf Coast and we're often affected by hurricanes. How are you helping the Houstonians post-hurricanes, help them pull permits post-hurricane, such as the Hurricane Beryl that we just experienced?
Yeah, thank you for that question. And so when hurricanes and storms of that nature, even enter the Gulf Coast, one of the things that we proactively do is that we're sending out information into the community, right? Educational. In the event that a direct hit or flooding, comes into the area, here are the things that we suggest that you pull together, the type of documents and so forth, and what to do. And so we still have folks who are reaching out to us that are repairing, remodeling, rebuilding from Hurricane Beryl, which came Category 1 from July timeframe, early July, and so a lot of damage. A lot of trees. Went through homes, garages, and so forth, and so it's making sure that they understand the difference between totally reconstruction, remodeling, and repairs. Right. A repair permit is you're doing minor work. You didn't have a lot of damage, and you just capturing that, doing repair. A remodel says that you had some extensive damage done to your home. Tree might have fallen on it, maybe didn't go totally through, and or either maybe the windows were damaged, something of some nature might have been damaged, and so you're doing a remodel. Of course, there's going to be plenty of roofing permits that are also pulled because there's a lot of trees that went through roofs and or either had damage to the roofs, such as definitely in the Kingwood area for sure. Reconstruction permits is that you're totally building new. And so when you're looking at a reconstruction and a remodel permit, you're going to need plans for that, right? Architectural plans, structural plans, and to accompany that, and that'll be signed and sealed by architects for those particular type of rebuilding, if you will. Some scenarios that we're aware of is that because of the danger that some of they say that the garages or the portions of the houses might have incurred, and a danger that it was to the area, is that some folks went ahead and they demolished, say, like their garage, their detached garage, and understand it fully, but it creates other scenarios when you fully demolish it without maybe getting a demo permit, right? Because the city's going to require you to have a demo permit, right? And so those are the kind of gotchas that we're seeing, especially with houses that were damaged in the city of Houston, if you will, pulling the proper demo permits, making sure the gas is properly, cut off and so forth by a master plumber and so on. And then of course, getting the proper, permits in order to rebuild, build anew, right? A lot of times that we see when there's storms coming through is that husband, wife, partner, whomever says, we've always wanted a larger kitchen. Or we've always wanted to have an extra bed or something, right? And so as soon as they do that and they're moving a structural wall or incorporating a structural element, then you're going to need plans and you're going to need a permit for that. It happens.
Well, Helen, it's been absolutely wonderful talking to you this morning about PermitUsNow and all the good things that you're doing inside the city of Houston, inside the state of Texas, and around the United States, frankly, in Florida and Puerto Rico and other areas. So I want to thank you again for coming on. To all our viewers out there with all your permitting needs, visit Helen on LinkedIn or at PermitUsNow.com.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you again
Always
for
a pleasure.
joining us.
Absolutely. Talk to you soon.
All right, get a copy of that real book, the new book, The Real Secret in Permitting Your Construction Projects. That's great work, Helen. Thank you again for joining us today. And for our viewers out there, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on It's Your Business.